And by that, it defines how a species is actually made. Fourth postulate on the origin of species by Charles Darwin. We talked about variation, talked about overproduction, we talked about adaptation, and finally we're to reproduction. And reproduction is the passing on of traits whenever you have a species that is able to reproduce and have more of its own kind. See, the species is defined biologically within other definitions that species can hold on to, because Darwin himself never really defined what a species was. But for the most part, he said that we would know it when we saw it. And in that respect, we say in biology that they can mate and reproduce something of their own kind. They are able to breed. And in this respect, I'm just saying that they can play well together. These controllers can play on the same system together. The interesting thing about that is that with the reproduction that we see, there are certain characteristics that let certain organisms reproduce more than others. It's kind of a competition to be the most fit for being attractive. The attractiveness of this controller for me is that it has my favorite color, it has the most contrast between the buttons, and it just is what I grew up with. Now, the thing is that whenever you have a favored trait, sometimes certain organisms are able to define that, and it drives really random mutations. It drives it way far out there. I'm thinking about primarily the dances of birds of paradise, how they are able to dance around and do these ridiculous things that are showcasing to a female, and the female is very drab. You see this in the guppies, Ender's guppies from Venezuela. They have bright, beautiful colors on the males, like they are betta fish, and the females are very drab. And because of the drabness, they help us to be able to camouflage. Whereas when you have less predators, the flashiness grows. You have other situations to where the flashiness of the organisms that are the most fit sometimes are also hidden. You have the dewlap that comes out on the anoles. That's sexual selection. You have the birds' songs in the finches. So everything has a component to separate one species from the next, so that whenever one sees the other one, they don't play nice together. They won't reproduce anything. And by that, it defines how a species is actually made, how one becomes two or more.